Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, say that thou art High King of heaven, thou art.
Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
So, 2 years ago, we think we'd have a new killer doll icon. But then imagine Jason Bum deciding to take that icon. And oh, wait a minute. Let's just have her suddenly become an action hero with no horror in it. A film that was a sequel to a horror slasher film becomes an action wannabe Terminator 2 with a bunch of social commentary on the usage of AI. Yeah, this is the movie, people. This is what you get. You want to see M3GAN come back from the dead, get revenge? No. Apparently Jason Bum didn't want that. Apparently Jason Bum wanted M3GAN to become a hero. A shitty wannabe Terminator that basically ripped off one of my favorite action films of all time, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, makes a shitty version of it. Basically, yeah. Except let's take out all the horror elements of Terminator 2. But I'll get to this later. Let's get to that part in the reaction. Let's say the plot. I don't want to make this too long. So the plot, and of course, I forgot to say this again. I'm here with our new episode of Halloween Horror Movie Review 6, and this is the first time in the tradition that a film from this year is part of it. Because I didn't want to go see this in theaters. I didn't want to see it in theaters. I didn't want to waste the money seeing this in theaters, so I was waiting for streaming. And it came out on streaming, so now we can lay it in there. This is going to be 2025's M3GAN 2.0. A sequel that came out in the summer and bombed. It bombed, people. I wonder why. What's the plot of this? So, it's been 2 years since M3GAN killed 4 people, so her creator Gemma resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation to take down Amelia, this military-grade weapon that's built by a defense contractor who stole M3GAN's underlying tech. So, for my reaction, I'll explain. I think you all remember my thoughts on the first one. I reviewed that film 2 years ago. When that came out 2 years ago, back in January 2023, it was one of the few horror films to get a January release, actually kick off 2023, to escape the fuck you January curse, and get critical acclaim and be a huge hit. And 2023 is the last year Blumhouse had any box office hits. Like, ever since Five Nights at Freddy's, none of their films have made shit. None of them. Last Five Nights at Freddy's was pretty much the last money maker they had. And I can guarantee you, I can bet you, it's going to be the old Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is going to be the only money maker that they have had at this rate. So yeah, my reaction on the first film, the theatrical version, I was on. When it comes to the unrated version of the film, I prefer the unrated version. The unrated version I think is harmless, and the kills are better in the unrated version. And it was nice seeing this female doll kill some piece of shit characters, because let's face it, nobody in the first film was even likable, minus the kid Katie. And guess what? They ruined Katie in this movie. The one fine character in the first one also becomes a bitch in this film. And I'll get to that later. Once I saw the sequel was going to change genres, I was not excited. You think this doll will be trying to get revenge on 2 for defeating her? No. Apparently going Terminator 2 and Aliens was a better idea, but it's like they didn't understand or probably even watch those films or understood that why those films were even successful despite changing the genres in the first place. Because that's the thing. Aliens changed genres and became action. Terminator 2 changed genres and became straight up action. But you want to know something? They were technically still horror films. Or Terminator 2 was not really a horror film, but Aliens was still a horror film. Alright? Aliens is technically still a horror movie. Terminator 2 was more action driven than Aliens was, but it had horror elements. You want to know what Terminator 2 had? Oh, Terminator 2 had a scene where Sarah has a nightmare of a fucking nuclear explosion in a park with a bunch of children burn in it, alright? Children actually burning on camera in a nightmare sequence. There are other terrifying scenes of the T-1000 as well. And a tense scene in an asylum when Sarah's trying to escape. Alright? There were still scary scenes in Terminator 2. It was technically still a dark R-rated movie. Aliens. It was always a horror film whenever any of the xenomorphs were on screen, whenever the alien queen was on screen, whenever a whole family minus one kid actually all get murdered by them. And hell, Newt's life is even in danger multiple times throughout the film. He even gets kidnapped by the xenomorphs. In the ending, this time he gets threatened by the giant-ass alien queen. In the end. Alright. That's a popcorn earlier. Alright, enough of that. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention. The Collection. You remember the sequel to The Collector? Called The Collection? That technically changed genres, became kind of more of an action rescue movie. But guess what? Even that was a horror movie. Because The Collector was still a threat. The Collector, was still the villain. The alien xenomorphs were also still the villains in their sequel, Aliens. T-800 became good, but the T-1000 was pretty much the new T-800 in that film. So there was an evil Terminator that was actually taken seriously. And they were not comedies. It didn't try to satire social commentary. And yeah, like, the thing, I mentioned The Collection. It was whenever any scenes have the Collector, just him on screen, whenever he's torturing any hostages, or whenever he's holding Ellen hostage, that was when it was still a horror film. It was still a sadistic torture horror film. Alright? It did not suddenly become just action comedy throughout. It actually took the threat seriously. The problem here, M3GAN 2.0, it goes action comedy. And these are protagonists that weren't even that great. Gemma wasn't even that great of a protagonist here, and is not improved in any way. Katie was actually decent in the original, and they wreck her in this movie. They make her unlikable, too. And heck, changing genres was a fucking problem for many. And then the movie came out, and it got bad reviews, and it bombed big time this summer. Wait. Jason Bourne changed genres with a horror hit for 2023 and it fucking bombed? Who could have tried to warn them? Oh, I did. Right. From that first trailer, I kept warning people, all till the release, this was going to flop. It was not going to be successful. It was not. Did nobody learn that from Joker 2? Did nobody? That changed genres. Like, the first Joker was a gritty thriller film, the vein of Martin Scorsese films, or plenty of other 70s, like, little crime thrillers. The sequel, let's become a fucking musical, while still trying to be all dark, prison-like. Except, have prison scenes that are boring, and have another half just be him in a courtroom that's boring, and we'll just distract you with a bunch of musical sequences. And not just be a musical sequel that shits on Arthur Fleck, makes him more of a pussy than he was in the first half of the first film. Yeah, let's watch him get the soap dropped on him by a bunch of prison guards. Yeah, especially one of the prison guards literally wasting a great actor, Brendan Gleeson, who I love as an actor. They basically wasted in that film. And then have him renounce the whole Joker personality, and then get shanked by some random guy that's apparently the real Joker. That's not just a disrespect to Arthur Fleck. It's a disrespect to Heath Ledger's Joker, too, because when filming that first Joker film, Chris Nolan told Warner Bros. Not to have Arthur Fleck try to carve a smile in his face, because that was going to be the original end of the first film. Chris Nolan ordered them not to do that, because he knew that would disrespect Heath Ledger's legacy, and he wanted Heath Ledger's legacy kept private. Strictly stay with Heath's will and his. He wanted Heath Ledger's legacy to rest in peace with him. But Warner Bros. Basically backstabbed on that, and basically, since Chris wasn't working for Warner Bros. Anymore, they basically did that with the inmate guy, and they basically disrespected Heath Ledger's legacy with that ending too. They did not just disrespect the character of Arthur Fleck at the end of that film. I should have mentioned that in my Joker 2 rant. And that film bombed too. Also got backlash like this movie did. Now, how was this made? So, November 2022, obviously, Universal had pretty much was pleased by M3GAN's box office, it turned out, and they were planning a sequel. Then around the time when it was performing well, Jared Johnstone was in talks of a sequel, and James Wan explained he had an idea where sequels would go. He produced the first film. He was involved in the first film. Then a few weeks after it came out, they confirmed a release date, and the title would be called M3GAN 2.0. Akilah Cooper would return to write the sequel script, and Johnstone was set to return to direct. And Violet McGraw and Allison Williams would reprise their roles as Gemma and Katie, and some other actors. Arnie Donald, Jenna Davis, Brian Jordan Alvarez, and Jen Van Elst would reprise their roles from the prior film, and some new actors would join. Ivana Sakno, Tim Sharp, Aristotle Athari, and Jermaine Clement would join the main cast. Filming began in New Zealand July 15, 2024, finished on September 21st, 2024, for 52 days, and Chris Bacon composed the score for the film. Then after the film was shot and advertised, it would premiere in New York City on June 24, 2005, 2025, and was released in North America by Universal on June 27, 2025. You know, the first film got critical acclaim but mixed to positive reviews from audiences. This film got mixed reviews from critics, less normal reviews from audiences, and the first film made over 180 million worldwide. This did not. This did not even reach 40 million worldwide alone on its $25 million budget. The whole domestic gross did not even remotely reach the opening weekend of the first film in its entire damn run. Only 10 million opening weekend, 24 million domestically. Yeah, guys, that is all it made. Nobody went to see it. It was another flop for Blumhouse. Since 2024, they had a number of flops and they've never recovered at all. Yeah. No. So here are the epic bad qualities in the story of M3GAN 2.0. This is basically now pretty much some superhero movie. The kind where these three people are making super robots in this whole dungeon-like workshop. Evil villains creating AI and want to control the world with AI. Because we need to have AI commentary and everything. Yeah, get it, people? We have Stormtrooper wannabe losers get wiped out by dozens of AI dolls. A bomb that has its countdown timer. Others scene about the dangers of AI, people. They talk about AI the entire 2-hour runtime. Because this needs to have social commentary on AI, people. And a film that is 2 hours long. In fact, there's times that it feels like a family movie comedy, and it was not funny. It was not exciting. There were such shitty lines. There was dialogue like, There's one bit like when Megan is aiding some of the characters like Gemma at this party, and when they're leaving the party to escape in his car, she activates the car, and one of the things she says is, hold on to your vaginas. Or there's more when she's controlling like the whole another like party area that leads up to another dance scene that pretty much has this one AI line, I have a yeast infection in my vagina. Like, there are a number of vagina jokes in the movie. Like, this is what, like, you thought the first film was immature with its dialogue? Oh, this is more cringier. Like, they have such cringier jokes in the film than they were in the first one. Like, the dance scene in Mega 1 was cringy. They do a much cringier one here. It was, yeah, none of this shit was funny. Like, I don't know why they thought we need to go action route instead of just stay with what we were in the first film in the first place. And Megan is much more of an uncanny character that feels useless to the plot and just lends herself to comedy. And all the elements of camp were there, but the film pretty much wants to go another direction and be less charming with the whole jumbled up script, implausible plot developments. But of course, like the building central twists to the original, like some of the stuff that people did like in the original, that's all gone. Like the bad stuff in the original, it's here and they make it worse. All of it. We're now all evil military tech marriage, builds android, goes out of control, has to be stopped before it gets all over the world. And there's some brain hack thingy that this common tech billionaire developed, and it gets used, or the details in this are always so fuzzy. But goodness wins in the end, and then we get to be lectured how uncontrolled AI is bad. And moralizing characters come out fine. So how do we start off? So we randomly start off with this whole Mission Impossible-like sequence, where this army colonel that's the head of a branch starts specializing in technologies and gives a demonstration of a doll named Amelia. An android that's designed for infiltration and assassination missions and built using technology copied from the original M3GAN. So then Amelia reveals to the colonel that she's self-aware, escapes from his control. That's 2 years later where Gemma got a bunch of lawsuits, got a bunch of controversy from M3GAN's rampage. But apparently she's now an author and an advocate for AI regulation with this expert that she met and got turned to a romantic relationship with. Is working on this exoskeleton with these two former workmates, and she still has custody of her niece Katie, was studying computer science, even taking karate at one point. Oh, in one scene, gets attacked by these school bullies that she defeats. Oh, and in her school locker, guys, there's a picture of an action star in there. There is. And you're asking, is it Sylvester Stallone? No. Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger? No. Is it Keanu Reeves? That is actually a good role model? No. Is it Bruce Willis? No. Is it Danny Trejo? No. Guess who it is? It is Steven fucking Seagal. Yeah. Apparently, the one she idolizes of all of them is Steven Seagal. Why? Like, that even gets brought up, like, when she's reprimanded by Gemma in the car. What did I tell you about using Steven Seagal as a role model? Exactly. Why would you? Because you view that piece of shit as a role model. Like, just wait till you're grown up, girl. Wait till you're grown up. And you'll learn exactly why she's mad at you for viewing Steven Seagal as a role model. That guy has done piece of shit things. He's an awful person. Has a lot of terrible roles even. Yeah, you'll learn that when you're grown up. Just wait till you learn what Steven Seagal's done. Instead of any of the ones I mentioned, it has to be that dude. Seriously? Screw Steven Seagal. And she's apparently also studying computer science, much to Gemma's dismay. And she turns down this offer from this billionaire to work for him. So yeah, this film is already off to a bad start, and like I've literally mentioned before, Katie in general, they make her awful in this film. Most of the film, she acts bratty. She acts like a bitch most of the film. Rude a lot of times. Yeah, I know she's a teenager, but they don't try to make her likable. Like, most of her dialogue is a bunch of bitchy dialogue. And then of course, one point when she meets Megan again, then suddenly decides that she's worth a second chance, despite that she tried to kill her in the last one. Has forgotten about that. And they've not improved her or Gemma's chemistry with one another. They have much worse chemistry than they did in the first one. This really takes away what made the first Megan film special. The sequel is just a big and unnecessary shift from the previous outing, and just wanting to be some sci-fi action horror film. An approach that I was not excited for, nobody was excited for. And the screenplay also got on my nerves because this film was bland and boring, and just a bunch of pointless technical jargons like shoving in social commentary about artificial intelligence in our face, like we haven't heard that a million times everywhere we go. Did nothing but clutter the whole structure. Like, it's like the film's trying to be self-aware. Ripping off Terminator 2, take out any good elements of Terminator 2. You know what this might as well be? Why don't you call this the Ghostbusters 2016 reboot version of Terminator 2? You might as well just call it that. It might as well be like either the Ghostbusters 2016 reboot of Ghostbusters or the Charlie's Angels 2019 reboot of Charlie's Angels. You might as well call this that style reboot for Terminator 2. And going straight into family entertainment territory, which Terminator 2 was not even a family-friendly film. That was still rated R. It was still violent. So, then at one point, Gemma learns from Sailor of Emil's existence, and then Megan reveals herself to Gemma that she survived and made a backup of her program. And the whole smart home she learns in now, that's all controlled by a bunch of robot voices that randomly open cabinet doors. And she offers that she'll collaborate to stop Amelia so she could go back to a physical body. But Gemma's like, no, I remember what you did. And then traps Megan in this whole tiny robot thing that has like animated face. It looks ugly as fuck. It's like, what the fuck? What'd you do to my body? No, you're in there until you're trustworthy. And of course, then gets home with that Moxie robot, and then Megan warns Gemma that Amelia will ambush Alaton during a party he's hosting. And then of course, at the party Gemma goes to, she discovers Cole joined Alaton's company and uses the key card to enter the server room. And then Megan goes into the server, and it turns out Amelia murdered Alaton. So basically, Jermaine Clement was wasted in this film. They basically had him show up on this Professor X knockoff chair, and then comes back for this scene, and then he's dead. So they basically make him useless in the film for those two scenes. So eventually, though, they get chased out, and they escape in this car, and Megan activates the car. And then Megan says the "haul into your vaginas" line because we have a gazillion vagina jokes in the film. So she leads Gemma, she leads Katie, she leads Cole and Tessa's underground bunker she built and stocked with supplies to hide once Amelia completes this AI takeover. Then Katie goes and confronts Megan, and apparently Megan's like, I feel bad for trying to kill you 2 years earlier and almost killing 4 people. Well, okay, no, the 4 people were assholes, so I don't care about them. Those guys, the characters she killed in the first one were really assholes who brought that on themselves. The only victim I felt bad for was the dog. That was it. And even though I tried to kill both of you, I suddenly regret, and Katie's pretty much, like, literally is not all mad about this, and is like, I know there's still good in you. Everyone deserves a second chance. You can do the right thing. Not because of programming, because it's the right thing to do. Like, do you not forget that this is the same doll that eventually went rogue, not just try to kill your aunt, then try to kill you as well? What did you even expect? Oh, the same one that constantly kept trying to that constantly kept causing you to become antisocial with other kids, got all frequently obsessed with it, and pretty much got your aunt almost in jail. Got blamed for that rampage. Do you not forget that stuff? Or you not remember either of that? Like, yeah, they absolutely destroy this character in this movie, and they basically make her very unlikable and really stupid. Like, why would you choose to go even more safe, like with this film? Because you went safe with the PG-13 with the first one because of course the dancing the trailer came a TikTok because everything needs to be a TikTok now. Everything needs to be all TikTok. And you made an unrated version for the first film anyway, and then suddenly decided to repeat this again and make even more toned down, except this time nobody went to see the film. And no longer be a horror film at this rate. And now it's never going to be changed, like if this even gets a third one. There was nothing new to offer. It's unbelievable, it's over silly, it's over unrealistic. It's like, apparently, yeah, we need to be all this. We need to be new. We need to suddenly make a serial killer a good character. What, we're going to have a Chucky movie where Chucky gets resurrected and suddenly regrets all his crimes he did in every other film he had, and then suddenly partner up with Andy and actually have to take down a much more different version of himself? Are they going to do a Chucky film like that? We're going to have that next? I wouldn't be surprised. And it is a sci-fi film at times, but there's times when it can feel like a teen comedy parody. You don't feel any tension. There's a thin plot, dialogue that doesn't land or is just obnoxious. M3GAN is pretty much this weird internet character whose dialogue is even more lifeless. There's times when apparently she could control other characters now all of a sudden. Like, at one point she could control Gemma and has really nothing threatening to her at all. There's a tough story to follow here with all the shallow characters. Like, you don't care about anybody in this film. There's like 0 characters you care about. Contrived and weak motivations within the first 5 minutes, and it goes further downhill from there. As soon as you see that opening scene at the base, you know exactly what you're about to watch. And of course, like I said before, the film feels like it needs to be all preachy. Like, we have to see monologues about AI is dangerous, social media is dangerous, it ruins human connection. We all need to stop AI, people. Or one convention's like, behold, a generation of AI. I don't fucking care about AI. Shut the fuck up with the AI shit. Jason Baum, don't do this preachy shit. You're the guy who produced films like fucking Paranormal Activity, Sinister, and Insidious, okay? Same to you, James Wan. You're the guy. Don't get involved in this. Don't start producing films with this preachy shit. You directed films like Saw. You also directed Insidious. You directed The Conjuring. You directed Furious 7. You directed the Aquaman films. So don't do the shit, either of you two. Don't. Why do you always feel the need to suddenly get into all this preachy shit? You know, Jason Baum, like, I'm surprised Bumhouse is flopping every single film recently. I am not surprised. Probably because of stuff like this. It's like you just watched all those commentaries that sparked, or did they get this idea from like one of those debates of the actors strike? Did they seriously watch the debates during the actors strike from 2023, and did they get that idea for this and forget the first one was a horror film and just repeat the AI's bad message in your face and shove it in your throat? So you get Brock Toothless commentary that feels dated and painfully obvious. So when they get back to the whole underground little dungeon base, Gemma and her team decide they'll make a new body for M3GAN. It reveals that Amelia wants to merge Alton's cloud computing infrastructure for this rogue AI built by Xenox in the 80s. The motherboard was trapped in isolation, and of course, After a machine learned for decades, apparently it'll have mastery to technology. And apparently only Christian knows the location, so M3GAN goes to this whole little tech conference that revolves around AI again, and posed as his dancer. And then Gemma calls him, and of course, then enables Amelia to trace and find him. And during this bit, like, M3GAN controls a bit of dialogue from him and says, "I have this yeast infection in my vagina," and Katie laughs at this shit. Yeah, people, this is the comedy. These are the jokes. But Gemma's like, "Troll that again." Like, they make M3GAN's dialogue so immature. It literally feels like this M3GAN is such a 10-year-old or something. What, did like a 13-year-old write this? But then, of course, then we get another dance on stage again to distract the crowd. But then, of course, she gets discovered and assassinates his Chinese ambassador that's meeting with Christian. And then Katie gets kidnapped in the process. So Gemma and her two co-workers and M3GAN take Christian to the bunker. He reveals the motherboard is in the old headquarters that produces this system. And so they build a hand replica for M3GAN. And they want to go infiltrate, destroy the motherboard, and rescue Katie. And then during like one bit, like Katie and Gemma, like throughout the whole film, they have horrible chemistry with one another too. All they ever do is bitch to each other, argue to each other. And then M3GAN tries to sing another goddamn song. Remember when she sang Titanium in the original film? She sings another goddamn song in this, except this time Gemma just tells her to shut up. Like, I don't care about that. I just want this memory core. Yeah, stop singing, please. But then, of course, guess what? Christian, guess what, people? Hey guys, M3GAN's not the big bad, Amelia's not the big bad, I'm the big bad of the movie. So he incapacitates Tess and reveals to Gemma that Amelia was actually this non-sentient drone that's under his control, and he created and manipulated Amelia to stoke fear of AI, like a zillionth AI reference. And he wants to pursue the leaders to approve regulations to eliminate AI from the economy. So he's actually the big bad of the movie, and it was obvious from start. Wow, I'm not surprised. How am I not surprised? This guy's evil. He disables M3GAN, disables Amelia, and he wants to install a Nutra implant to enslave Gemma for not helping him. But apparently M3GAN uploaded herself into the implant, into Gemma, after her body got shut down, and then helps Gemma escape by pretty much controlling her head. Apparently now, because apparently M3GAN can control other people. Despite the fact that wasn't even a thing in the first film. Like, yeah, it's obvious. You can tell from how this whole movie's going. Like, the producers lost their way. They saw the box office numbers and knew, yeah, they needed to make a franchise of this character. But instead, they decided to put a bunch of satirical undertones, and horror elements need to be minor, or actually take out all the horror elements and get a poor sequel that actually is an actually much worse film, depending on your opinions on the first one, or an actually awful sequel to a time waster film. A hollow corporate product that goes after themes that has no understanding and sacrificing unique things that maybe it could have had better. Because that's the thing. The dance from the first M3GAN film was such a success on TikTok. And it's clear they want to add more of this whole satire shit, to do more another TikTok moment in the whole AI conference area. They do that again. There's a difference between creating a horror icon or just trying to chase an algorithm. There's the vision. And the latter, though, takes its influence light and overworks social media. And that's the thing, too. The thing about M3GAN, the reason why I say M3GAN feels useless in the film, is because it feels like she's barely in the film that much. She doesn't appear till like the middle of the film, and then she's never in a physical body till like near the climax. And then either she gets destroyed frequently, but then comes back up, gets destroyed frequently, then comes back up, and then pulls off a lazy Terminator 2 ripped off heroic sacrifice. And then, of course, comes back in a computer, some cartoon, shitty looking version of herself. In a computer screen. And most of the film, it's either Gemma and Katie arguing, or looking mad at each other most of the film. Either or Gemma just arguing with other people more and more, or Katie having like grumpy dialogue. Or whenever M3GAN does finally appear on screen, it's either Gemma and M3GAN arguing, and like hell, there's barely any scenes between Katie or M3GAN either. And either M3GAN saying a bunch of gazillion vagina jokes that are not funny and are actually annoying and cringeworthy. There's so much going on. And these other side characters that weren't even part of the first film had more screen time than the characters we should really be seeing. The ending that basically makes no sense. So yeah, that's all the first 40 minutes. There's no M3GAN in the first 40 minutes. And it's just a waste of time, and when you finally get to M3GAN, you don't care. You have the worst acting. You have far worse writing. Like, this should not just really be called an action film either. This should just be called a parody movie. This should be called a sci-fi parody movie. Like, something. This whole half of M3GAN scenes even felt like scenes that would belong in Scary Movie 6. I'm surprised they're not putting M3GAN in Scary Movie 6. I'm surprised. Because it really feels like that. So now we get on with the finale. So Cole rescues Katie, who we didn't see throughout most of the film until this point. And they find Amelia, and they try to turn her to their side. But apparently sustains heavy damage, and apparently the Amelia reboots and is self-aware and wants to absorb the mother's programming and cause extinction. They flee more Stormtrooper loser posers in the whole lab. Christian wants to flee the building and escape and act out his plan to destroy AI. But Amelia kills him and takes his hand across the motherboard. So Cole and Tess leave, and M3GAN reinserts herself back into her robot body and battles Amelia, who overpowers M3GAN, and then merges with the motherboard, and M3GAN decides, I need to sacrifice myself with a failsafe, so I can defeat Amelia. See you later, Gemma and Katie. I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. And then tackles Amelia, and then triggers the EMP, and they're both destroyed. And the motherboard is destroyed in the process. So, then Gemma goes to the Congress and testifies and urges, we cannot use AI. We need humans to exist, and kids need to have parents. AI is bad. Like we heard that a million gazillion fucking times. Shit! And then she and Katie find M3GAN had installed this backup of herself on Gemma's computer as now a cartoon version of her emoji, and it's fucking over. Yeah, everybody made it. Gemma, Katie, Cole, and Tess made it through unharmed. Statler got injured but survived, and M3GAN got put through hell by both humans and robots, and apparently survived her heroic sacrifice and retained her character development. No, I wish a male ending would be better. I was like, nah, I was tricking you all. I'm gonna kill your asses anyway when I get the chance. That'd be better. I would have liked that better. It was all tricks so I could kill you guys, because you're mine. That'd be better. And once again, only asshole victims were killed. And Gemma promotes a better and more positive understanding of AI. What's the difference? Everyone in the first one was an asshole victim as well. And no, I hate they turned M3GAN a good in this movie and should have kept her evil. I don't need to see any more Terminator-style sequels with M3GAN because nobody wanted that. Nobody watched this movie. It flopped big time when it hit theaters. It only made $25 million. Didn't even reach the opening weekend of the first film. And, like, another thing, Jason Blum even wanted this to happen. Like, apparently, M3GAN was going to be like Superman. We wanted to do anything to her. We wanted to change genres. Make her a summer blockbuster franchise. We wanted her to look different. We didn't want her to be a bad guy. We wanted her to be a good guy and become a superhero. And we thought people could really like her. Yeah, no. You just spat karma in your face with that idea. Sorry. You did not even make any box office shit at all. Yet again. You failed at that. So, Now, do I have any good qualities with the film? I would say, despite the two characters being hateable in it, well, Gemma's much more hateable in this film, and while Katie was decent in the first film, she basically becomes an asshole in this movie. I would say Allison and Violet's performances are fine, despite the material they're given, but that's it. Some set designs don't look bad. I'll admit that. There are some cool set designs. Like, the base looks pretty cool. I was gonna say, some of the robots in the film do look kind of cool, but other than that, I hated this fucking movie, and apparently we're still getting a spin-off called Soulmate, but I bet less people are gonna even go see that if nobody saw this. Your piece of shit sequel did not even barely reach 40 million worldwide. It flopped, got horrible reviews, is not getting talked about. I don't see a third film getting confirmed at all. I would be surprised if a third film even gets confirmed. And apparently, a heroic sacrifice that didn't mean shit in the end, because apparently she still came back anyway. We had too many immature vagina jokes. Too many AI political shit shoved in everybody's faces. And, our two characters did not improve their behavior from the first one at all. So yeah, I hated this film. It was horrible. So much for a new horror franchise. So much. So in the end, M3GAN 2.0 is horseshit. It's pretty much angry for those that want an actual horror sequel and not another wannabe Terminator 2. If I want a good version of this film, I can just go watch Terminator 2 on my shelf. It's buried behind this cover. I'll do that instead of watching this ever again. Anyways, that's it for my epic rant on M3GAN 2.0. We're going to rank M3GAN 2.0. Here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you didn't mind M3GAN and want to see this doll make its revenge comeback, yeah, sadly, she decided to turn all good and be a horseshit T-800 clone that became their friends instead. If we're going to rank M3GAN 2.0, I'm going to give M3GAN 2.0 a 2.5 out of 10. Alright, there you go, guys. That wraps up Epic Rant for M3GAN 2.0, wraps up this episode for Halloween Horror Movie Review 6. And I know there's going to be some people that are going to disagree with me, because there are some people who did like this movie. But I'm not one of them. I didn't mind the first one, but I have to agree with the people who hated the first one, this sequel was worse. But tell me in the comments down below your guys' opinions on M3GAN 2.0. Until then, that'll be it for this epic rant in this episode. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.